Rosalie, I'm going to start with you. I mean, the lead role in a Pixar movie. I mean, what an incredible achievement. Do you remember where you were when you first found out the role was yours, and who did you tell first?
I remember I was in the Pixar studio when they told me, and they had everyone come in, and it was a huge thing. And the first person I told, besides my mom, who was at the studio, of course, was actually my dad. And I waited a long time before I told him because I just surprised him after we ate dinner and all that. And it was just a happy day.
And Sandra, I mean, the character, I mean, the character's got an underlying love and affection for her daughter, but at the same time, she's anxious and worried and angry. There's so many things and so many nuances and meanings in what she says. Is that quite hard to bring out all of those emotions in a single sentence when recording in a booth? Because I know they can be quite an isolated experience.
That's a great question. I'd say, you know, the wonderful thing about animation and the challenge of that is exactly that. How do you get a tremendous amount of nuance in a limited amount of dialogue? But that's also one of the great things about being able to hone your skill, to be able to go, I mean, you know, Ming goes from, you know, hypervigilant mother to a giant red panda herself. So there's a wide range in vocal range.
Because I mean, you both have to strike up this kind of mother-daughter relationship, which is obviously so close and close-knit. But is that quite hard to do in an animation? Had you guys met before you got started in a bid to try and create that relationship?
Absolutely. I mean, we both recorded separately, so I had no idea how Sandra would say her line and vice versa. But I think Domee, the entire behind the scenes crew, they did a great job at giving us insight and saying the lines how the other person would have said it. So
yeah, it's really Domee Shi, who was our director, who has that overall, you know, viewpoint and the way that she directed, because, you know, we did do this majority, the last part of all the dialogue was during the lockdown and during the pandemic. So Rosalie and I both recorded separately at our own homes. And then eventually you probably went to Pixar and then I went to a separate studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Sandra, it's so funny. I mean, had I watched this as a 13-year-old, I definitely have taken Mei Lee's side all day long. And now at the age of 33 years old, I found myself siding with the mother. Do you remember when that moment and that moment when that perspective changed for you? Because it's so funny, isn't it? How suddenly everything she's saying, I'm going, well, she's got a point.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's like, you know, it's probably for me, it's the saying, but people would never go back. I would never go backwards to be, you know, younger than I am, because what you gain in experience and knowledge and maturity is you would never take that away. But yes, all those perspectives changing, you know, at 15 or at 16, you have a certain perspective. Then 21, you know, it'll grow as you grow.
So Sandra, what were your sort of teenage obsessions at that age? And Rosalie, well, I mean, what are yours now? You know, because I mean, or maybe going back 3 or 4 years, I was saying to the other guys, Domee and stuff, Spice Girls were probably what I was into when I was super.
Well, but you want to start with what?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm totally into K-pop, everything K-pop.
For me, I'll date myself. You know, it's interesting that we all are choosing music.
Yeah.
You know, music is a big part of Turning Red. The music is fantastic. And so for me, I think that's also the beginning of like when you become a teenager, music is very, very important. So I was obsessed with music as well.
Yeah. Rosie, it must be so funny watching this back and imagining a time when us older people didn't have like cameras on our phones. It must be quite entertaining for you to go back and think, oh, this is how my parents lived.
Yeah, I mean, I have an Asian household, so we're cheap. So I think like when I was 8 and before, my parents didn't have cameras on their phones. Actually, like my dad had a flip phone for the longest time, and my mom, she had a really crappy phone which had a camera, but horrible quality. So, but watching the movie and seeing I don't know, it just, I like how people are always interacting. No one's really on their phones a majority of the time or anything.
Yeah, because the film is also set in the mid-aughts.
Yeah.
2002, yeah.
Oh, actually earlier than that, yeah.
Very, very quickly before I go, Sandra, I've got to ask, because obviously Killing Eve is coming back soon for season 4. Obviously, this is the last season, which means you're now done with the character. That must have been quite hard to say goodbye when at that wrap party.
Yeah, well, I wish we did have a wrap party. But again, shooting through the pandemic, there's a lot of restrictions. So it was hard to say goodbye to the cast and the crew. But, it was really time to close up that storyline. So I really, really hope that, we're sending Eve and Villain off in a great way.
No, I can't wait to see it. Well, thank you so much, guys. Best luck with the release of the movie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,